Hello, everybody. Hope that you're doing well. Can see I hear music in the background, so make sure I cut that out. Stop. There we go. Thank you for coming. I appreciate y'all. I'm sorry, it's taking me a minute. I wasn't expecting any of that. So I got this new one
Welcome
that's
to
come
Child
out.
Abuse Awareness with Darlene J. Clark.
Please come in and say hello. The Copyright Disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is the use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips and balance in favor of fair use. I always like to start off with a couple Bible verses, and I think the one to do today, especially since we're doing today, Isaiah 1:17. Learn to do right, seek justice, defend the oppressed, take up the cause of the fatherless, plead the case of the widow. Also in Proverbs 28, verse 5, evil men understand not judgment, but they that seek the Lord understand all. We do our best. Now make sure that trigger warning is at the bottom of the screen. Oh, keeps getting off of what I wanted to do, so I'm sorry about that. Let's fight me today. Please come in and say hello. So we're going over North Carolina, Curtis Cochran, age 72, SWAIN County Sheriff, was arrested. Without further ado, let me present the screen. And of course, when I find one news article, I usually find different ones. I don't just go with the same one. A lot of times, some of them got a little bit different info. So it says right here, people in Swain County shocked after the sheriff arrested facing multiple charges. This is Monday, June the 30th, 2025. We want to thank ABC 11 for this. Here is the guy right here. Can you believe he's 72 years old and he's doing what he did? Wayne County Sheriff Curtis Cochran faces multiple charges, including sexual battery and solicitation to commit prostitution. This was in Cherokee, North Carolina. I had to call her back in a few minutes. On Friday, the North Carolina State Bureau of Investigation and the Cherokee Indian Police arrested 72-year-old Cochran. He faces multiple charges, including sexual battery and solicitation to commit prostitution. We don't just do about, even if he does these women, uh, we got to get it out there. There's a possibility this guy could even mess with kids. We don't know. But we need to be an advocate for and a voice for these people, regardless of whether it's adult or child. He also faces charges under the Cherokee Code, including 2 counts of oppression in office and 1 count of abusive sexual contact. Many people in the western North Carolina county were surprised by the arrest. Wow, I did not know this, says resident Patty Griffith. I hate to see this and hear this for a leader of our community that we depend on for keeping us safe, taking care of our community for these same kinds of crimes. Alden Phillips, an employee at the chocolate shop, added, I couldn't believe that someone in power like that would do something like that. Under state law, the chief deputy will now serve as acting sheriff while the vacancy of Cochran is being filled. We all know there's a lot of bad people that's police officers, that's with our judicial system, that's messing and doing these wrong acts. We already know that, so we're not surprised. The sheriff arrested allegations include solicitation and assault. This is thanks to MSN.com. On Friday, agents and officers arrested a sheriff in western North Carolina on numerous charges, including solicitation to commit prostitution. Details of the allegations can be found at the bottom of the story. SWAIN County Sheriff Curtis Cochran, 72, was arrested by agents with the North Carolina State Bureau of Investigation and officers with the Eastern Band of Cherokee Indians for the following charges: felonious restraint, assault on a female, sexual battery, solicitation to commit prostitution. In addition, Cochran has been charged for violations of the Cherokee Code, specifically 2 counts of oppression in office and 1 count of abusive sexual contact. Ashley Hornsby Welch, the 43rd Prosecutorial District Attorney, said these alleged acts, if proved, constitute corruption while in office. Welch filed a petition to have a Superior Court judge immediately suspend 72-year-old Curtis Cochran from his position as sheriff in SWAIN County. It makes you wonder how many years he's been doing this. She also requested that the judge order a hearing to both permanently remove Cochran as sheriff and to permanently disqualify him from the office of sheriff of SWAIN County. Senior resident Superior Court Judge Tessa Sellers suspended Cochran and set a hearing in Graham County for July the 7th. So it's not the 7th yet, okay? To review the suspension. She set a final determination in SWAIN County for July the 21st on the petition to remove Cochran. Cochran has been sheriff of SWAIN County since December 2006. He has been elected for 5 consecutive 4-year terms in office, according to the Superior Court. On Friday evening, the SWAIN County Sheriff's Office released the following. As many citizens of SWAIN County have heard through various media outlets, on June 27, 2025, an investigation by the North Carolina State Bureau of Investigation and the Federal Bureau of Investigation resulted in criminal charges being levied against Wayne County Sheriff Curtis Cochran. Subsequently, Superior Court Judge Tessa Sellers ordered the immediate suspension of Sheriff Curtis Cochran from the office of Sheriff of SWAIN County. Under North Carolina law, the chief deputy is to perform all the duties of the sheriff during the suspension period until the statutory process of filling the vacancy is completed. Please feel secure that there will be no disruption in the services provided by the SWAIN County Sheriff's Office as a result of this situation. The men and women of the SWAIN County Sheriff's Office remain committed to serving and protecting the citizens and residents of SWAIN County. Since this involves a criminal investigation, the Sheriff's Office is not in a position to make any further statements. Chief Deputy Brian Kirkland, SWAIN County Sheriff's Office, WYFF News 4 is still working to obtain Cochran's mugshot from the SWAIN County Sheriff's Office. Here's the details of the allegations now. Because we got to remember that we cannot say he's guilty even though they got evidence proving it. We got to have guilty in a court of law. According to court documents provided by the SWAIN County Superior Court, On or about the evening of Sunday, June the 22nd, the Cherokee Indian Police Department responded after a woman claimed that she had been sexually assaulted that afternoon. The claim prompted the police department, the North Carolina State Bureau of Investigation, and the Federal Bureau of Investigation to investigate the matter. According to the woman's claim, she and her boyfriend both left home after an argument that afternoon. The pair were both walking along US Highway 19 between Adams Creek and Jenkins Groceries when the woman saw what she believed to be a law enforcement officer traveling towards her. She tried to trusted him, right? So the woman flagged the vehicle down, hoping the officer would help. The claim continues by stating the driver of the patrol car, allegedly identified as Cochran, offered to let the woman sit in his vehicle. The woman said she believed it was to help the situation cool off as she was upset and crying. According to court documents, Cochran allegedly began to drive away and began to touch the woman. Cochran is then accused of asking a woman for oral sex and even asked how much she charged for the act. The woman claims that she responded by saying she doesn't know because she doesn't do that. Cochran allegedly kept asking for oral sex after she refused, and at one point he allegedly pulled the vehicle over on the side of the road, walked around the vehicle, used his body to block her from escaping, and asked again if she would perform oral sex. The woman claimed Cochran then told her if she agreed, all she will have to do is say his name if she got into trouble and he will help her. She told authorities she was frightened and thought she was going to be going home. Court documents say Cochran expressed his disappointment to the woman's refusal and took her back to her home. On the way back, Cochran allegedly began rubbing his crotch on the outside of his pants before exposing himself to the woman. When they got close to the woman's house, Cochran is accused of asking her if she was good at keeping secrets because they were going to keep the secret. That's what they do, these people in power. And they're so afraid to tell a lot of times, right? The woman claims she refused to respond and she got out of the vehicle and ran inside her home. Authorities obtained video footage from the home that shows the sheriff's vehicle arrive and the woman exited the car quickly. After the investigation began, a law enforcement officer observed the vehicle matching the sheriff's car driving suspiciously near the Cherokee Indian Police Department on Monday afternoon. After pulling the sheriff over, the officer noticed a woman in the car with the sheriff who was just released from jail. So this is another woman, a separate one, okay? Authorities later talked to the woman, and she claimed that she was walking down the road after she was released from jail, and Cochran pulled up beside her and offered her a ride home. She told authorities that she was scared of that sick, perverted old man, Curtis Cochran, who had allegedly touched her all over while they were riding down the road. The woman claimed that Cochran had wanted her to do these things that she did not want to do. Okay, so let's get away from this one right here. And here is the one here where SWAIN County Sheriff arrested after sexual. So two women claimed sheriff assaulted them in the law enforcement vehicle. Okay. Is pretty much right here. So on Friday, the sheriff, and so this is FoxCarolina.com. On Friday, the sheriff of SWAIN County was arrested and suspended from office. Curtis Cochran, 72, has held the office of sheriff since 2006. He faces charges from both state and tribal courts, including assault on a female, sexual battery, abusive sexual contact, felonious restraint, solicitation to commit prostitution, and oppression in office. According to court documents, a woman filed a report with the Cherokee Indian Police Department on Sunday alleging she was sexually assaulted by Cochran. On June the 22nd, the victim left home after an argument with her boyfriend and flagged down a law enforcement vehicle on US 19. Court records state that it was Cochran's SUV, and after he picked her up, he began to touch her. She was already crying and upset, and then he goes and does this and violates her? When she objected, he repeatedly asked her to perform oral sex on him and asked how much she would charge for it, the documents state. Cochran is also accused of exposing himself, the records state. The Cherokee Indian Police Department immediately launched a criminal investigation when the victim reported the incident. When they reportedly found evidence to corroborate the woman's story, the FBI and SBI began to assist in the investigation. While investigating the first report, court records say a police officer spotted Cochran's SUV driving suspiciously. The officer stopped the sheriff's vehicle and said inside there was a woman with Cochran who had just been released from the Cherokee Indian Police Department jail. She was visibly upset, according to court documents, but told police she was okay. Of course, you're still in the car with them, so you're going to be afraid until you get out of there, right? Officers continued to follow the sheriff's vehicle and said when the woman got out later, she was trembling and appeared to be about to cry. She informed law enforcement she was scared of that sick, perverted old man, Curtis Cochran, who had touched her all over while they were riding down the road and had wanted to do things she did not want to do. SBI agents and officers with the Eastern Band of Cherokee Indians took Cochran into custody on Friday. A judge also granted district attorney's motion to immediately suspend him from office. The district attorney is calling for Cochran to be permanently removed and disqualified. A hearing to review Cochran's suspension will be held in Graham County on July the 7th. The judge will set a final determination on a petition for his removal on July 21st. Okay, we done went ahead and was reading that earlier. Also working to get a mugshot for Cochran. Stay with Fox Carolina for updates. This is crazy, isn't it, y'all? Hey there. Good to see you, Teddy. Thank you for coming. Hey, Jose. Good to see you. Hey, hello, Dio. So what y'all think about this deal here with this sheriff? North Carolina, SWAIN County. And this is in North Carolina. Had you ever heard of him? Anyone? And as it's got on this July the 5th, this is today's date, North Carolina SWAIN County Sheriff was arrested, felonious restraint, assault on a female, sexual battery, solicitation to commit prostitution. In addition, Cochran has been charged with violations of the Cherokee Code, specifically 2 counts of oppression in office and 1 count of abusive sexual contact. I think he needs more sexual battery charges against him. Needs also about somebody in power, not just doing the oppression thing, but also people in power. You know, he needs to get something done about that as well. I want to thank Charles Rogers for telling me about this story, even though it took me a while to do it after he told me. I really do appreciate it. Remember to keep the kids in Texas in your prayers. A lot of these other kids that's been found trafficked. These ladies right here, they're telling how many people that this sheriff has violated, and they were afraid to come forward. And it's kind of a shame that it still has to go to court, you know, to see what the standing is on whether or not he's going to stay dismissed from the police department. I believe he still needs to not go. But thank you so much, everyone, and God bless y'all.